JAH9.
Blessed love, blessed love, blessed love.
Always a pleasure to have you in the studio, man.
Yes, always a pleasure to be here.
You always seem happy. You always seem happy. That happy face.
I'm always happy to be here with you all.
Yeah, I was about to say you're not here enough.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. You're just not here enough.
True.
When was the last time you was in the studio with us?
Oh,
over a year.
I think
2 Februaries ago.
With Kabaka.
2 Februarys ago. Yeah. Wow.
Was that long?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Channel.
So 2 Februaries ago could either be...
dash away.
What day I know, you know?
Yeah, man.
The phone lines is blazing, man, and JAH9 is in the studio. Big up to those of you who are listening all across the world. Of course, on a Monday night, is 31 cities across the world. So shouts to those of you who are in the overseas territories, the Caribbean territories, of course. Those of you who are, all around the US of A, right? Because we do represent the diaspora fully here at Sound Chat Radio. And we like to give you guys good music and great conversation. And outside of good music and great conversation, we like to give you guys talented artists that come through the studio and just give you their perspective on life, as well as the, shows that they're doing, and as well as the projects that they're working on. So it's been a busy, it's been a busy summer for us, because so many artists have been passing through, and we've been having some great conversation. Tonight is no different. Every time JAH9 comes through the studio, the conversation is always phenomenal. So we're going to talk about a few things, of course, talk about what she's up to, talk about some of the new music. She has a big show in New York tomorrow, right? And
Brooklyn.
Yes, and I was looking at the tour schedule. It's very attractive. Yeah, so
but that's need for know.
Things are happening, Ninja. That's why we're not getting any visits.
Yeah, but I just need for know JAH9 in town, big show in Brooklyn. I mean, I get no personal invite.
I got one.
But that's
I just didn't share it with you. I didn't share it with you. I'm gonna be honest. I got one, but I didn't share it with you.
JAH9, what happens? The ballet thing. JAH9, it's a ballet thing, right? You get a song, you don't have to be dread to be rashed up, JAH9.
She'd never pass it on. But you are all invited.
All right. Just to make sure.
So, sis, what has been going on since the last time we've seen you?
Oh, well, just in the studio, we're making music, we're on the road. Fortunately, we give thanks that we have been invited around the world to bring the music and the message. And we're bringing the yoga and dub as well. And we're bringing just upful vibes, in the studio. I mean, doing some different things. You might have heard some new music, a little different from what you might be used to, but, we're always kind of pushing the bar. So we're looking forward to some feed forward from the item, the masters.
Yeah, me hear some new love music, JAH9.
You hear love music?
Yeah, me hear some new love music.
Yeah, man,
what?
some of that have to go on to,
Yeah.
Balance.
It's a balance. We said it at the same time. It's a balance. Where have you been, though? Like, since the last time we spoke, what parts of the world have you visited?
This year has been really interesting. For the first time, I was in South America, Brazil. Wow. And I was in Israel as well at the top of the year. And we've been, the usual European run as well. But it's just, I give thanks because, the law of attraction is a real thing. And I've really been attracting some very interesting venues. We were also able to bring yoga and dub as a retreat to, the south of France, and had reggae music lovers come and do some yoga and learn some indigenous vibes, some cultural vibes, some italivity and all of that. 5 days worth of good connection with the people. And just festivals, and then, coming back to the US again and doing these shows, touching some new spaces that we haven't been before. Like, we're headed to Maryland after the New York show tomorrow. And we're just there to do the works. You see me?
You spoke about yoga and dub, and I'm sure that some of the people don't know exactly what you mean when you refer to yoga and dub. So explain to them, like, what is the yoga and dub thing that you're doing across the world now?
All right. So a lot of people might have heard the term yoga, and I mean, especially Rasta people and Jamaican people, when they hear yoga, oh my gosh, that is that devil thing. What is that? But it really is a breath science, a life science of how to use the full capacity of your lungs and to pull real and true breath into your body and rejuvenate the body and move through, build up your circulation, get your lymphatic system moving, as well as bringing calmness and peace to the mind. Yeah? And especially in this time, like, people don't even realize how much they aren't breathing. You know, the more tense a situation gets, the more we hold our breath, the more we clinch inside of ourselves. And yoga is a really, really powerful tool to help people kind of get into their bodies in a real way. Separate from aerobics and exercise and gym and all of that, it can just be sitting and breathing deeply. And that is really, really powerful, especially for people of the diaspora. You know, we come with so much baggage sometimes, and sometimes the only way you can get us to settle and to balance and to be at that zero place is to breathe. You know, so it's really kind of giving brothers and sisters access to
How did you get into it?
I was about 10 years ago, I got introduced to yoga. I got thrown right into it in a teacher's training. And I was trained in a method called Iyengar, which is a more therapeutic approach to yoga. So it's more about alignment and using yoga to heal specific ailments in the body and to kind of move the body to that place of wholeness again. So the person who originated that style was actually somebody who suffered from a lot of injury and used the method to heal himself. And so a teacher of Iyengar came to Jamaica, and I was able to do the teacher training intensively, 3 months worth of training.
Wow.
Yeah, and then after that, I just every year consistently have been training. And so I've learned about 4 other styles of yoga as well, including Kemetic yoga, which is an African-based yoga, which is revolutionary for I and I to learn how the roots of yoga are deeply rooted in Africa as well. So it's just that journey, you know, kind of bringing people into a space where they realize that, yeah, man, just like how you can embrace Rastafarian roots and culture, yoga is from that same place of connecting with the Most High within yourself and taking away some of the noise from the outside world, you know. So yoga on dub is when we bring all of that life science now and infuse it with the dub, instrumental dub. So my band is on stage, and I am directing the band through instrumental dub while I'm directing the participants through yoga on the mat.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's something where you really have to be there to experience
you have to see
it, you know? Yeah. And you really have to participate. And it's not, I mean, people think yoga and they think, oh, twisting into a pretzel, but that really isn't the highest form of yoga. The highest form of yoga is what leads you into meditation. So what we want to do, because, you know, tomorrow is yoga on dub at the Knitting Factory, 6:30. Yeah? So come with your mat, and we're going to go through the breath. We're going to learn how to access the breath from the diaphragm, how to breathe deeply and use the breath to empower the mind and the body and to heal the body. Yeah? And then when we move through the breath now, we're going to add a little bit of movement, a little bit of stretch. Nothing too difficult, but if you're well flexible, we're going to have something for you to do.
So the band is playing throughout this whole thing?
Yes,
Wow.
Yeah. So it's that thing where if you feel a little nervous and you want to look around, you can just close your eyes, listen to my voice, and let the music just guide you into yourself.
So what do you do, you know, on the stage? Are you're doing yoga, but are you singing too, or are you just...
Yeah, man, there's music. Because sometimes you have to use that, you know. So the band is playing, and then there are times when, you know, I'm just singing a mantra, or I'm singing a piece of a song that is pertinent. Because, you know, my music is kind of mantra music already. It's that kind of meditative vibe. So it's just infusing that into the vibe now. So there's a lot of instruction, because I am the kind of I give very detailed instructions, so that if you are listening to my words, there's no way you won't be able to understand what to do. And it's not as complicated. Once you shut down all of the noise outside and just focus, you really are going to get the benefit of really rejuvenating your entire body from your fingertips right down your spine to your feet, and really, really feeling that. And it is a transformative process.
How did you come up with it?
I came up with it because, you know, for myself, I mean, it's really hard to practice by yourself sometimes. Just the discipline of getting up and just going and practice. So listening to instrumental dub, like I used to listen to like Mad Professor and scientists while I was practicing myself. And I would find that just going into the postures with that kind of sound in the background really helped me to kind of shut down all of the other noise in my head. And especially I found for people who were new to the practice and were kind of shy about it and, you know, nervous about being around other people, like once the music started to play, once the dub started to play, it's like they just kind of, it made it easier for them to just shut everything else out and focus. So the dub is to really help, especially those who are new, to kind of just shut everything else out and just focus.
And the awesome thing is that it's not like recordings playing, it's actually a live band.
Yeah.
So that's another experience within itself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's
because
like
it's building and flowing, so the ebb and flow is moving with you, you know, and so it really feels like the music is supporting you as you go through your own practice.
wow. JAH9 is in the building for those of you who just tuned in. Of course, the number is 718-554-8598. Call her up and heal her up. I mean, she hasn't been here for a while, but every time she does come through, the conversations is very, very good, very much on point. We're speaking about yoga on dub, which is her thing that she's doing across the world now, right?
Yes, I.
How are people embracing it?
You know, it's really surprising because it's a beautiful thing because it brings different worlds together. And so I do a yoga on dub, and of course the yoga community is going to come out, and then the roots and culture communities come out. And sometimes those two communities look very different. But then all of a sudden they meet on the mat, and it doesn't matter where they come from, what the color of their skin is. Once they start to breathe together, is like, the intensity in the room sometimes is just beautiful to see everybody just working in their own space. And then by the time everybody has been washed by their own breath and come out of it, you see people looking at each other. And, you know, it's just a really beautiful thing to build communities as well.
When you just first started doing the yoga on dub, was people kind of shown like, yo, JAH9, the big artist, where yoga go?
Of course. And probably still have some who are like that now. But just like with all great innovations, you have to just do it. And there are a lot of things that in my life I have started and people are like, huh? And then all of a sudden it's all over the place.
Right.
You see me? So we give thanks for that. You have to, if you are a leader, you have to lead. And you have to do that fearlessly. And I always say unafraid, innit?
Yeah, and most of the time when you're trying to do something new, and you know, because some of us, you know, imagine things that are just so beyond other people's imagination that they don't get it.
True.
It's when they see that it starts to lock in now, they're like, "Ooh, let me give it a chance," you know. So I know that there are people out there now that's listening to us and saying, "Well, how do you put dub and yoga together?" You know what I mean? So you guys got to come down and check it out tomorrow, right? Where is it going to be again?
It's going to be at the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn, and the yoga on dub starts at 6:30. And even if you don't feel like do the yoga on dub, just come out 8:30, showtime.
Oh, yeah, sure too.
Yeah, because she's going to be doing. Come on, Ninja.
What do you mean? We can't fly all the way and not do no show.
What is your? I would say, what is your goal with this yoga on dub? What would you like to see happen doing all this?
You know, I give thanks for asking that question, because yoga on dub, yoga for me has been service. Even when I was training as a yoga teacher, because I was a musician already, it's like I didn't approach it like, okay, I'm gonna be like a big exclusive yoga teacher and travel the world and like make lots of money. For me, it was like, wow, this thing is such a great healing tool. And especially when I get to share it with my sisters, like, it's a powerful healing tool. It helps to move trauma out of the body too, because we store a lot of our historical trauma in our tissues, in our hips. We store, you know, sexual trauma, and lots of people. So like when I am teaching a class and I'll go through, there are people who, when you put them in certain poses, they just start to weep. And they don't know why. They're not thinking about anything that should make them weep. But there's just things, there's tension that we hold in our bodies. That, I mean, it's only when you really go into it with the breath that you get to release this, you know? And they don't even know that they're storing this tension. They're just walking around with a knit between their eyebrows all the time. And then you put them on the mat and you roll their shoulders back and open their heart and pull the shoulder blades together. And when they take that deep inhale, it's almost like something breaks open inside of them. And there is no way to explain it other than just healing. And it's that I wanted to do. Seeing it happen enough in my smaller classes, I was like, yo, I need to bring this out. Like, people need to feel this, you know? So if you are brave enough, and if you need it, if you even feel like, yo, you know, say, I'm so stressed out right now. Or, you know, say, I have so pent up inside and I just don't have any way to get it out. Come, let me teach you how to breathe.
How hard is it though? Like someone who is not flexible then?
You don't have to be flexible. There's always, and especially because my background is in Iyengar, like there's always something you can do. So one pose might look different in all the different bodies in the room, depending on where you are. But there's always somewhere you can go. And we don't practice from the ego. So it's not about looking like you're in the pose. It's about getting the benefit of the pose. So for some people, leaning forward might just be curling your back a little bit. For some people, them chest might be flat on the ground. but it's the work you're doing, you know? It's not pushing yourself with your ego like, I have to do this. It's allowing the body to gently open and getting tools. And my thing with it is, I'm not trying to show off how much I can do. So I'm not teaching you my practice. I'm in here now and I'm looking at the bodies in the room to see what they need. So I don't come with a prescription. I really and truly go into the room and think, okay, what do these people need? And I'll go around and you're getting the most out of me in yoga and dub. Like I always tell people, like when I go on a stage, I am never nervous. Whether it's 100,000 people in front of me or 10 people in front of me, I don't get nerves when I'm to perform. But see, when I'm supposed to teach, yeah, man, everything. It is because I feel so responsible for every person in the room. So it's like, I don't play with that.
So that's your biggest challenge, the teaching of
Yeah, man, it is my greatest service. It really is.
718-554-8598 is that number in studio. Let me see if I could go to the phone lines. Caller, you live.
Good night, Ninja. JAH9.
Blessings, sister.
I love your songs, and you got to give us a piece of avocado.
You want a piece of avocado?
Yeah. Listen.
Slice.
Give Ninja the dub plate if he don't have it.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Oh.
Thank you.
I love you, Ninja.
Love you too.
718-554-8598 is the number in studio. JAH9 is in the building, and we're just having some great reasoning. There's some other stuff that I want to talk to her about, but she's here, and on this trip, she's on a mission. And, of course, it's the yoga dub that she's bringing throughout the whole world. It's being perceived very well so far. Her only stop on this trip is in Brooklyn tomorrow, right? And then she leads off and she goes to Maryland.
Yeah.
Right. And then I think I have a copy of your schedule somewhere here.
Yeah.
But
and I'm headed to the UK in November. May I say I'm UK listeners. So all I want to look out for the thing. Go up on my website, find out we're coming to the UK too.
I was just about to say that. Like, she's coming to the UK and she's coming to quite a few places in the UK.
Yeah,
starting November 1st. Waterford, right? She's November 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is going to be your first.
This is my first official UK tour. Yeah.
Wow.
You need anybody to carry them?
You mean the Ninja Girl? Oh my gosh.
Stop.
What?
Listen.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to talk music, of course.
Yeah.
There's going to be a performance tomorrow. We're going to talk yoga. We're going to talk dub. We're going to mix it all up and have a great conversation here at Sound Chat. JAH9 is in the building, people. I was just giving you guys a little small taste of today's conversation. But it is something that I think that a lot of you may want to witness, like, you know, and participate in. The yoga dub. Yes, yes. You get excited when you get new what would we call it? New guests, new
innovations. What you mean? It's a nice vibe, man. And you see, the thing is, you see right now with what going on in America, like, I am privy to it only because my parents refused to turn off NBC. Is that it? That the station name?
Yes.
NC, whatever.
Yeah.
NBC, yes.
NBC, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, you're like, look at these people. Especially my sisters. I don't know how they feel as women watching what's going on in the US right now and seeing these people and the viciousness that them deal with this whole very sensitive issue with, you know? And it's like, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that in a society where you feel like you have no voice? Like, no matter how loud you talk, it's almost like you're talking underwater. Like, how do you deal with that? Are you going to find a bigger platform to go shout louder and get placards and go into the streets? Or are you going to go in and center yourself and find a place so deep inside yourself that none of it matters? I choose the latter. It's that I try to show the brothers and sisters them, especially the ones over here, because trust me, like the black experience, I always say it like, there is no harder black experience than in the United States. I really feel that. I mean, not even in Africa. I really feel like the black people here in the US really have a special trial. And because that trial is so rough, it means that the reward is very great when they're able to overcome it. So I really would have loved to see the brothers and sisters come out and find some tools. And even if you don't come out, like, just go search for it. Like, I'm so tired of seeing everybody all angry. Like, you know what that kind of anger does? It is toxic. It is toxic to your blood. It is toxic to your mind. It is going to make your stomach sick. It is going to cause cancer to form in your body. Like, we need to talk about cancer. You know, today is the 1st of October. And you know, cancer, big industry cancer said, yeah, this is Cancer Awareness Month. But we call it ganja and guinea hen weed and soursop awareness month because those are really the things that you use to combat cancer, right? So we really should spend a little time
So we will. We're going to take a break. JAH9 is in the building, of course. Anytime she comes around, great conversation. Keep your radios locked. 718-554-8598. JAH9 is in the building. And Proto was in the studio recently. And your name came up in conversation. And he was speaking of how, you know, how much of an impact you made on the lives of many of the artists that we are now looking at as the new generation of reggae stars. You know what I mean? And what was your relationships like?
It was a time when there weren't as many opportunities for people doing different things, for young people trying to do different things now. And so we had each other. And at the time, you know, I was reading a lot. I was reading, and it was a time when I was deeply kind of, you know, going into more research on His Imperial Majesty. And I think it really was Rastafari that pulled us closer together. That's really where we found a common ground. And in addition, like, Oje is a protege, is a very charismatic kind of virgin, you know, and so he saw that, you know, we were trying to do this live thing, and we were trying to, you know, go into this Jamnesia vibe and live and bands and jam sessions and all of that, and he really took to that current too. You know his background. Some of you might know his background is more
uptownish.
Yeah, uptownish, but like the hip hop kind of vibe,
right,
tape type of thing. But like it's like he started to see where a different kind of vibe can work and be just as potent because he was feeling it, you know. And then I introduced him to Kabaka as well. And then my thing is togetherness, you know. And I think that is the thing. Because maybe because I am woman, I see the thing in a more holistic way. I'm like, yo, if we are together, this thing, them cannot stop us. It
was an interesting conversation because, you know, when we were asking him how everything started, he stopped and he said, listen, this thing all came together because of JAH9. You know what I mean? And it was kind of, you know, it was kind of shocking because you know, not most artists say things like that. And he was like, this thing came together. You know what I mean? I think he said it was him and you in the beginning. You know what I mean? In the movement, you and him as artists are inspired artists. And then he said that you said to him that there was another brethren that you know that he's really good, but he raps. And he said that it was Kabaka. And he said that Kabaka performed. Well, what he said is he went to Kabaka and said, listen, I want you to perform on my show, but I don't want you to rap. You know what I mean? And he said Kabaka touched the stage and ripped it up, and everything was just what it was from there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the movement started to come together.
A lot of times, you know, if you leave it to the brethren, them going to, yeah, man, we respect, yeah, but them not going to really come together. And so you really need to have that glue, that thing that pulls everybody together. And I think, I mean, I give thanks for the credit, but it's the feminine, you know. It's just that idea that this is so much bigger than any of us. Like if we want to sell live music, you can't sell live music and then you don't sell live music. The whole way of just corner the thing, you know. And when we were moving, we used to move together as a group. When we were reading and reasoning, it was a reading and reasoning together. When we were building, you know, it was a building time.
Did you ever see this coming to?
I mean, of course, like. For me, this is the vision that I have. I mean, I saw it a little even more different. I saw it a little different too, but this is the direction that I saw it going in. Where, if we do it together, we make a much bigger splash. If we do this together, we make a much bigger impact. If we do it together, and if we do it upfully, you know, if we present that to the world, and then it wasn't just us; it was other youths being inspired. So you had visual artists and dancers and poets and graphic artists and all of the other artists were building at the same time. And I had just left my corporate job. So he met me right at that transition time. So he was an inspiration for me too, because he was not on a job. I was going to freaking work 9 to 5 and he was like always in the streets. I'm like, you know, I need to quit this job. I need to free up myself. So, you know, we all inspired each other at that time, and it just was a magnetic kind of time.
How long did the process actually take from when you guys got together to where things started to blossom?
I mean, up to now, I think it's an ongoing process. I think within the first maybe 2 years was the most intense time. Like the first 3 years was the most intense time, and up to 2010, because at the same time I was helping to form a group in Jamaica called Manifesto Jamaica, which is all about promoting the arts. So we're building Manifesto at the same time, and we're working with artists. So we're pulling all the different art forms together. So this whole wave just came through Kingston in particular, and everybody was being pulled to it. And people didn't understand it right away, but they knew they wanted to be a part of it. And then we saw Chronix come up, and Chronix was just, I remember the first time I heard a song from Chronix was that song where he was like, Africa, Jamaica. I don't remember what the song name, but I was like, wow, this youth. And then I remember seeing him up by Edna Manley sitting on the ground, him and Kelly sat on the ground, and then playing music, and then another group over here, Infinite and Minimi, and all of these youths were just, they were given a cut, because you always had these pockets of people, It's like they all needed a fire to gather around. And that's what we were able to provide, that fire to gather around. So through Manifesto and through just the collaborations and building together and writing together. I remember when Protege brought the first song and was like, I think you can, you want to put a verse on this? And I'm like, all right. And I remember I took it home because I'm not used to writing around other people. I'm very, my thing is very private. It's really them kind of draw me out in terms of writing with other people. But I remember I wrote the verse and I came back, and when I dropped the verse, it's like him sit down quiet and fold up him hand, and he's like, yeah. And it's like, that song, no, we'll never hear it. Proton now gonna make her not hear that. But I'll be a tune him right after that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we give thanks. Because just feeding off of that creative energy, just dealing with people who were kind of on the same vibe and at the same level, and just trying to, hungry for it just as much as we were, but not hungry in a way like we're going to compromise. Hungry in a way like we want to do this the highest way.
Well, and, was it hard though for you to get everybody on the same page? Was it challenging at times?
You see me now, if you know me well now, you see the challenge thing coming, like it just make me even more intensely want to get it done. So I think the challenges were more in just trying to balance personalities as it started to grow, and then now to this point now where everybody's on the road and everybody has access to different opportunities and all of these things, and the world just kind of pull everybody apart.
Seen.
But that current was so powerful that it broke a wall down. And so all of the youths them now coming up after were able to just walk through that wall that we had to break down. Now they can just walk through it. So I feel really good about that. I don't usually get them kind of loud up there like that. So, it just feels good to be in the background sometimes. Saying, yeah, man, watch the youth.
Yeah, it was really, it was really surprising to myself and some of the callers, because I know that you all used to work together, but I didn't know in what capacity, and I don't know how it all came together. So to know that it was
building
you that,
and writing and just, it's them kind of thing. Because sometimes it's that them need, Sometimes it's really just kind of that maternal nurturing the thing need, more than even promotion and out there. Because, if it's one thing, like, OJ always knew how to promote the thing. But, we all kind of work together to figure out what the thing needed to be. And once we figure out what the thing needed to be, then he kind of took the ball and just was like, yeah, this is the level at which we want to do it.
What was the vibe like coming together though? Like, what was the mission? Was it at a time where you guys felt that there was a void in reggae, or did you feel like the youths wasn't getting their spotlight in reggae? What
it was all of that. For me personally, because I didn't, like, them youths there had aspirations from them in high school, them rapping together and whatever. Like, I did not plan to do this. It is really a pull factor. And it's really just seeing ones like that just pushing and saying, do this. Like, just seeing the overwhelming response when I would do my thing, and people just giving like, all right, man, you really have to do this, And I would go there, and a lot of it was that I wasn't hearing the kind of music that I wanted. And so I ended up listening to mostly vintage. I wasn't listening to current reggae music because I wasn't being filled by it. And I started to make the music that I wanted to hear. And then when I started to do that now, as a female, I wasn't really writing like female songs. I was writing heavy lyrics at that time. And so it made it easier for now the brethren to relate to what I was doing. And so when they were like, yo, you're hard. And all of a sudden, everything is easy now. Yo, all right, from them radio, they will listen.
Right.
But from you get their respect and they're listening, then it is important now to say, yeah, where I'm standing now, I am your sister. I am here to give you strength. You know what I mean? No little weirdness or no little whatever. We just work. You know, we just work and we would write together. And like, I co-wrote some of the songs on his first album and on this one, on the second one as well. And then, you know, it's just that kind of vibe. And like with Kabaka, like bringing Kabaka into it, like, I remember when, because these are two powerful youths, you know what I mean? And man, not two years, I remember the conversations I would have with each of them about the other, you know? And then I remember when they eventually connected, it's like, I was like, yes, that's all I wanted. Like, cut after everything. And when they finally hit, I'm like, I knew it. And that's kind of what was really inspiring me. Just looking beyond and saying, yo, don't watch nothing. Just come. Let's just try this. Let's just do this. And we jam and Jamnesia, like bringing everybody into that space. And like, we would be out on that seaside until the sun came up. After Jamnesia done and everybody gone home, we're still out there jamming, you know, and still out there just vibing and working out the new songs and lyrics, and it just was an amazing time.
And it became the foundation for the movement that everyone calls now the revival, right? That was the core of it. So is it safe to say it was you and Proto and Kabaka there first as artists?
Is it safe to say that? I don't know if it's safe to say. I don't know how politics go. But, yeah, man. I think at the beginning, that's really where it started. It started from me and, I remember, it started from me and Oje. It started from even before Oje, you know, because when I first was inspired to kind of pull together was from, you had bands like Dubtonic Crew, right, who were doing live dub. And I remember the first time I saw like the Uprising Roots band. I'm like, oh my God, these virgins are doing dub live. And I saw Jalanzo from the Dubtonic Crew with the effects pedal making live dub. I mean, that instrumental dub that is usually a producer do after the song done. They were doing it live on stage, and that is what made me know that, yo, we have to strengthen these ones. And I put on a show maybe in 2009 or something, where I brought the Dubtonic Crew and Uprising Roots together on stage. And, I mean, that was like revolutionary for me to see two dub bands, just roots playing. And that was an amazing thing. And you have ones like Jesse Golding, who was doing a thing called Jamaica Vibes before. And all of this is before I even met Protege. And all of these things are what gave me now the inspiration to say, yo, we have to nurture this thing. So by the time I met Proto now, and I saw what was possible with him, because yeah, him come with certain advantages too, you know, because him built in him have a whole network that was ready to push him, right? And so when now you help a one like that to see, yo, look to the roots, then you give everybody a strength. Everybody came in with their own strength, and you know, we were able to just push this thing into where it was now, into where it is now. Ones like Nomads, like I remember me and Nomads, them out at Jamnesia, like, it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
And you're so excited about it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, because in talking about it, in thinking about it, it's like it does feel like, it doesn't feel like it was 7 years ago, you know? It really feels like if we all are in a room together, if you see us all together, yeah, you're going to see a different side of all of these artists if you see us all together.
Who comes on after you guys? After, you know, Proto and Kabaka? Is there other people that you bring in afterwards, or do they bring in other people to the movement?
Well, you know, Protege has been able to bring forward some new artists, you know, like Mortimer and Savannah and Lila Ike and Zaya and a lot of youths. And, you know what I mean? Those who went out before and, you know, got that support and have that kind of framework in place can do that.
Right.
And so you see them doing that. So we give thanks that they're doing that, because that means that, yeah, man, they understood the lesson that we were trying to teach them. And so it's not just a me meeting, it's a we thing, or it naga work. And so we give thanks that he has received and internalized that lesson and are bringing forward the youths. And you see that with Kabaka too. Like, Kabaka was always like that though, because him and him Virgin come from high school days. And so you have Cora Fire coming up under the same Baby Rock banner, and you have other youths coming up as well. And for my thing is more artist development. So it's more working with the young ones, working with the ones who you don't hear them yet. But when you hear them, they're going to be prepared, because I've been working with them. I've been bringing them in, and we're working on songs, and we're working on just building sounds, you know, and getting that confidence that you need to be on stage and to sing on key. And I not, you know, it's a work in progress. You know, it's to know your role and to understand that, yeah, everybody's role is different. This is not a competition. This is a complementary situation, complementarity type of thing.
JAH9 is in the building, 718-554-8598. Turn it up. Sometimes we debate about this song and we just want to know what you know, what are you really talking about in the song?
You ask me this every time I come here.
Yeah, because we still debate it.
This song is not innuendo. This is about avocado. Like if you know me, you know I love my belly. This song was written around my breakfast table. So it's really avocado. But at the same time, when I was writing this song was a time when I was just starting to kind of vibe with Rory Stone Love as well. And Rory's like a foundation selector, and he exposed me to a whole heap of dancehall that I wasn't familiar with.
See.
You know what I mean? And in growing up and in hearing songs like, you know, when them talk about Coca-Cola bottle shape and them talk about all kind of thing about woman and thing. And I'm like,
exposed to any of these songs before?
I mean, not really, not.
Wow.
Pastor that and gospel music and the most mother area like a Afrobeat and them things about. You see me, it's later on in life that I really got exposed to that, and it was like, whoa, and Rory really poured a lot of that into the mix. And so my Avocado was not written as an album song. It was written as like, okay, no, this is going to be my, what you call it, clap back at all of those songs that used to make me feel insecure about the fact that I'm a MAGA girl, right? So I would be the kukum all the years growing up because MAGA girl, and you know what I'm saying? We don't afraid and we don't shame. But, you know, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, so you know the whole size 14 thing. No, I'm like, that's my clapback. Watch me and them now. So all who want vex now, I don't have a Coca-Cola bucket shape, but you don't have a size 14 foot. Yeah.
How do people perceive it when you're, you know, when you perform this song on stage? Would you say it's one of your most requested?
I definitely think so. I think so. I mean, it's funny. There are people who Avocado is the song that turned them onto me. And there are people who listen to me despite Avocado. So, again, it's one of them things there. But I almost didn't put it on the record. It's really Rory was championing it. And like, yo, you have to let the people see this side of you because this is really a part of who you are too.
Right.
You know? And so...
I think it was a good choice, though.
I think so, too. Because it's not like it's not, I mean, it's still a hopeful song. You know, it's just a little more playful.
And warfare, right?
Warfare, yeah.
Warfare.
Yeah. Unafraid, yes.
Hard.
Yeah, man. Terrible. So, and them think they're pertinent tunes, you know, because, you see, I remember what inspired that song, too. I didn't actually have the experience of somebody, like, sexually assaulting my nephew. It was just that he was at summer school and some teacher at the art school was very aggressive with him. And he's one of those youths who they would have labeled him as hyperactive, right? And so he gets into his energetic state and this young teacher don't have no patience and kind of must have jerked him or something. And my head just tripped out. I'm like, what? Why? These people are dealing with people's children and they're not professionally trained to handle this. And I just went off. And I wrote the song the same night. Because in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that's this time, but it could have been anything. It's the same way you leave your children in that environment and you really don't know what happens when you walk away from them at school. You don't know, and it only takes a few minutes for somebody to violate your child. And that is going to stay with them and scar them for the rest of their life. And so I felt it really important to kind of put that out there. Like, me as woman, I don't play victim when we come to this thing like sisters right now. It's not a me isolated thing. It's that all of us as women right now are standing up to say you cannot victimize our children. And if you try to do that, we will gang you. And we will take your picture, we will post it, we will make sure you cannot live a peaceful life if you are a predator. And that is what I encourage my sisters to do. When we say stick a head on a peg, it could be figurative, you know, put your face on wherever. You plant in your face. You're not hiding it. A lot of times you see these predators out there in the world and you see somebody post up them thing on Instagram and say, this man is a predator. Make it viral. That we say. You need to know. Enough time in the little family, them you have that one little uncle or that one little person who nobody talks about it, but everybody knows they're a pervert. No, we're not in that. We're not in the secret hide-up thing. You see me? So we're encouraging the ones to be unafraid and to speak up and break the silence against sexual abuse of any kind any kind of abuse. It is unacceptable.
How important is real life, in your music?
Real life is everything in the music. Like, real life inspires the music, even if it isn't my real life. But I have to interact with my brothers and sisters. And especially, I might be one of the few women I know who, for one, has had a strong father figure in her life, her whole life, present. Two, who has not been sexually abused or who has not been raped straight up, like, knock on wood, but I have not had that experience. And I remember sitting down among, like, me and maybe two other sisters are reason, and these are two sisters that I had so much respect for, and I'm just sitting there listening to all of the things they've accomplished. And then it turned out that one of them was being molested for 9 years by them stepfather, and another one had a similar situation and was in the army. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And this isn't an isolated incident. Like, if you check it in, it's just because we're not talking about it and we like to jump up and we don't like to think about the bad things. But if you really take a stock, a lot of the people who you see out there wilding out, if you check their history, there is some trauma there that they're trying to bury, or that they've been so victimized sexually that they don't even value sex as a sacred thing because they were not given the right and the opportunity to choose their partners and to choose how they would want to give that of themselves, And so, man loves the woman cock up them body and skin out and rape, but nobody's considering why is it that she feels so comfortable to do that? You know what I mean? Yeah, a woman is free to be herself and whatever, but really and truly, in my own investigation, because I am a social scientist, that is what I studied in school. And every time I check it, every single time, there is trauma. So if we nip trauma in the bud, right? Because I'm not going out there trying to save anybody. I just try and make sure the youths them protected so that I can see what the future will bring. Because I am no prophet, but I know that right now, if we protect the youths, we're setting ourselves up for a better future.
JAH9 is in the building, people. 718-554-8598. She's in town to perform her yoga dub session. Yoga on dub session. And she's urging all of you to come out tomorrow night. She's going to be in Brooklyn. And again, it will be from 6:30, right?
Yes. The yoga on dub starts at 6:30 and it'll be for about an hour and a half. And then at 8:30 is showtime. Live show. Full bands. DJ Gringo starting out and full bands. So all of your favorite tunes, come out, come dance, come vibes, and share. Yeah.
Do you carry the band everywhere you go?
I carry the band everywhere I go. Most of the time. I mean, I'm trying to branch out now. Maybe if Ninja feels like coming on the road. One of the times. We can take a Japan trip or something. I don't know.
Well, JAH9, talk to my lawyer. We can work it out. People sign up and thing, Make sure everything all right.
When my money's up, I'll give you a call.
So where's the place tomorrow? Where is it?
Tomorrow, it's at the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn.
Nice.
Yes, so put that in your Google
I might try the yoga thing, cause more time you wake up on your tense and you want, I might try that yoga thing.
Let me tell you, gentlemen, because there's one way that you can ensure the gentlemen them come out and enjoy.
Enough girls are there?
The woman them are definitely out there in their yoga gear, ready to stretch and get fit.
Right.
Also, yoga is very good for your back and your waist and your hips. And there are a lot of men whose hips are very tight. And so you put them on the ground and them can't even open them knees. And you're like, so, you woman manage if you can't even open your foot. You know what I'm saying? So come and learn some skills on how to open your
Okay, all right.
Yeah?
All right. Since you put it that way.
Call you live.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen, ladies in the studio? How are you going?
Wagwan, man. Where you calling from?
Toronto.
Shouts to everybody locked in Toronto, Canada, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, man. How you going? Yeah, I understand what the sister is talking in the studio, right? About molestation and stuff in school and different kind of thing. But then you don't understand that some of the kids behave very bad in school.
True.
And that is not what you're talking about now.
No.
You have to mention that sometimes some kids play the fool in school and they need a little nip in the butt sometimes.
Well, we have to be careful with what the nipping in the butt around here.
No, but if you want to say if you spread around to spoil a child?
True, but I don't think school is the place where that should happen. And so
I mean, not even school, because sometimes so
all right, listen, let me share a thing with you. You see, when you reach the school,
sometimes at home,
But you can't take the onus off of the parents now and go put it on teacher. You know, say most of the people, a lot of the people who end up in teachers' colleges because them couldn't end up anywhere else. Yes, and so it's not necessarily the highest and the brightest and the strongest you're getting, you know. You're getting people who, boy, them just want to do the easiest degree possible. You find that a lot of times, and they are very disconcerted by the work that they have, and they don't like their jobs, and the government not paying them well, and so the teachers are taking all kind of things out on the youths them. And those teachers are sometimes very young and barely adults themselves. So we have to now deal with the parents. We have to try and strengthen the parents and the mothers and the communities so that the youths them, if they misbehave, a teacher can call a parent and say, look, your child is misbehaving, and know that the parent now going to come wild up the teacher, but instead is going to handle the matter themselves. We can't, the onus is not on the school. The onus is on the parents. It has to be first and foremost.
We have heard a few times that where a parent come to school and
bad up
teacher or a child misbehave in school because they know some parents gonna come to school and but the teacher, so that might put the teacher in a way like, yo, me can't talk to Rere too hard because the parent are come cuss me, say wait.
Worse, in America, you try your best, don't even talk too hard to them penny there, because sue them or go sue you. You can't touch people, children, you can't talk to them too hard. My sister is a teacher in Cayman, and she barely is allowed to reprimand the children. Yes? And so this is what teachers face, even the great teachers out there. It's not a situation where you can lay hands on students anymore, right? And so the onus has to be in the home, right? So as much as the education system is failing, right? Because the colonial education system where they teach the youths them are some terrible judgment they must set up the youths them for. But in addition to that, it is in the home. Before I went to school, my parents, I was already reading when I went to school. That is because of my parents. I was already aware of my African history and aware of, long before slavery, all of the great things that Africa was built on. I learned that before I went to school, and that is revolutionary. And the youths, them go to school now, they have no confidence. They're told that their first experience in the world is as a slave, and that the standard of beauty is the Caucasian image, and all of these things are being fed to them, and they're being prepared to go and work for people, and this is what you put them in, and they're going to resist it. And in addition to that, what they're feeding the children in school, not just in their minds, but literally feeding them, like it's toxic. And then you sugar up these children and send them into class, and then say that them hyperactive, and then streamline them now and say them dyslexic, and them have learning disability, and them this and that, and you basically setting them up for prison. Because the same people who own the prison system own the school them in this country too. Ain't it? A lie? Where is the lie?
we like having you here, Janai. You should visit more often.
When JAH9 is here, we have some great conversation. As always, I hope those of you who are tuned in, of course, all across the world are paying close attention. She has some new music, too. Because you know she's not going to stop by without new music. Big up to Drew's in the building as well. Right? Yeah. She has some new music, but again, we are talking about yoga on dub. Correct? Right. I'm saying it correct, right? Yoga on dub. On dub. Now, listen, people, for those of you who didn't catch it earlier, it's a yoga session instructed by JAH9, and there's a live band playing. So it's not like she's putting in a tape deck and, playing a CD and playing. No, there's a band that is there, live band, giving you some great dub music, correct?
Yes,
as you are stretching and breathing, as JAH9 says, breathing. She's helping you learn how to breathe better, right? And again, how is it helpful? The whole session with the yoga, how does that help one?
Yoga is mostly about the breath. And so, again, I reiterate, we don't breathe properly. Most people, if you tell everybody listening right now, just take a deep breath. If when you took that deep breath, your chest lifted up, that means you're not breathing deeply enough. You breathe from your diaphragm right down in your belly. Your belly is supposed to expand when you inhale. A lot of people breathe backwards. So when they inhale, their belly go in. So they don't know. So we spend multiple minutes just learning where to breathe from before we even start to put it into stretch. Because if you don't know how to breathe, you can't even access your body. Yeah? And this is revolutionary. You would be so surprised, but I'm telling you, expanding the diaphragm, expanding the ribs, breathing, holding the breath, releasing slowly, and just that rhythmic movement of the breath, concentrating on the breath is the only way you can still your mind. Yeah? Because all of that chattering, isn't that a problem? I mean, is me alone suffer from that? Like, you just can't shut your mind down, right? Even when you're trying to meditate, like meditation, whoa, where's that going to come from? When you can't even shut your own mind up. Breath is how you do that. If you are concentrating on your breath, if you're concentrating on counting your inhales, counting the hold, counting the exhale, you cannot think. And shutting down that thinking function is very, very important to tapping into that inner voice. Because sometimes the thoughts are not even your own. Sometimes it's people's voices in your head. Sometimes it's something you heard on the news. Sometimes it's something somebody subliminally putting in your brain. You don't know. You are not the only one in control of your thoughts. There's a lot of money going into marketing to get things in your brain without your knowledge. So we have to find a way to shut all that noise down, or we're just going to be victims. You know what I mean? We are slaves until we are masters of our own minds.
Call it alive.
Ken, big up. Ninja. JAH9.
Blessed love.
I have a little thing here. I have a 6-year-old son. And we made the mistake of buying him an iPad. So he's on YouTube watching these videos. And some of these videos, we didn't even realize what was in these videos. They were kiddie videos, but then you hear certain things that was not for children. So now, every night now, this boy wouldn't sleep in his bed because he's terrified of God knows what. And it didn't come from the home. It came from the outside influence, that iPad. So now I'm trying to teach him how to, I don't know how to do it myself, but we're just doing it. Sitting down quiet and trying to clear your mind, clear his mind.
Crucial.
If
you can get him to learn these techniques of breath and meditation from early, you will give him a great advantage out there in the world. Like the people I know, like the sisters I have who are into homeschooling and yoga, like the yoga teachers I know, like their children are some different breed of children. Like those kids know they know where to go. Like when they get stressed out, you'll see them get stressed out and then their mom will be like, go and sit in your corner. And they go and they sit and you see them literally just breathing and calming themselves. Like this blows my mind. So I do encourage. A lot of people don't realize,
I didn't mean to cut you, but a lot of people don't realize children get stressed out the most of any humans.
And especially because of what they're eating. You'd be surprised that the food has such a great influence on the level of stress in their bodies. Like if they're eating a lot of sugar, this is going to stress out not just their circulatory system, but their minds as well. Sugar is drugs. You know what I mean? Sugar is the thing that the whole world is addicted to right now. You know what I mean? Yes, so you have to watch the sugar intake. You have to watch the flesh intake too, because it takes a whole heap of work for the body to break down flesh. Yes? And you have to make sure that the youths them going to the toilet. Hey, you have to talk about that too, you know. You have to make sure you go bathroom regular too, you know.
Since you mentioned that, that's something that I asked him. I said, did you go today?
Yeah.
No, but I went 2 days ago.
You see what I say? And the same thing with my nephews today are constipated. That's why even little picnic get cancer now.
Wow.
Okay.
Let's play some music. Come back. Let's play some music. Come back, JAH9. And there's two things that you were really passionate about that I've seen since you've been here. One, the cancer conversation that you really wanted to have. The constipation conversation that you want to have. and
that's one and the same, actually.
And of course, some new music.
Yes,
I definitely want to talk about that. I want to definitely stress those of you to get involved in Yoga Undubbed. I'm sure this is not the last time that myself...
And the concert. Don't forget the concert.
And the concert, yes, and the concert. I know it's not the last time that we're going to be talking about this. I think you guys are just getting the first taste of it here in New York. I'm sure JAH9 will be back to do it as well. Yes. It's something that it seems like you're very, very passionate about. And again, you know, when I hear you speak and when I hear other people speak about you, I know that you're not going to fail at this new thing that you're doing. I know that it's going to catch on so rapid, because it seems like when you talk to Kabaka and you talk to Proto, you will hear like how much admiration they have for you and how you. I think Proto used like Proto might have said like, oh, JAH9 is like a powerful person, like she's very, very powerful. And I was reasoning with Kabaka in the UK, and your name came up again, him and Abby. and your name came up again, and it was almost on the same line, like, yo, like, fear, you know, most men are gonna say it, fear woman, yo, very, very, very powerful. So, you know, I know that you're gonna be successful at what you're doing. JAH9 is in the building, people. We're talking about various things, so try to keep up. She's very passionate about a number of things, so we're gonna be jumping around. Drew is in the building as well. And maybe Drew will take the trot down with me to the yoga and dub. I don't know.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because actually tomorrow I'm not even going to the to work. I'm actually going to a doctor about my back.
So let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh.
Let's do it.
You need to check Dr. JAH9. It's that easy.
Stretch your back, brother. JAH9, you know, every time you pass through the studio, I always ask you for one thing and one thing only. I don't know if you're going to remember, but I'm going to remind you. I know that you're so good at these poems, and every time you come here, I always say, JAH9, a poem.
You know,
And I want to keep that tradition going. And I love to put you on the spot at the same time, too. And I think the listeners also enjoy it, right? So can we get a poem from you today?
yeah, man, sure. We'll get back to the poem. I'll find something. Go through and see what's
You know,
there.
it's just my thing. Like, you know, usually we would do, like, an artist comes through and we run a rhythm and we make them din. I'm like, no, when it comes to JAH9, I'm just satisfied with a poem.
Okay, I have something.
You have something?
It's not really a poem. It's a verse, right? It's a verse. And I should say, as a disclaimer before I say this, like, most of my songs, when I speak about the brothers, is always uplifting. It's always positive and encouraging of the brothers. Is, you know, this one is for all my brothers, or is a love song about the ideal man, or Mr. Size 14, or whatever it is. I am always giving strength to the brethren. But you have some man where you just straight up have to just talk to them straight and say, listen, you think you're the shit, but really and truly, you need to check yourself. You know what I mean? And this is one of them check yourself kind of verses, right? So,
You ready?
you ready?
Yeah, man. Check yourself. Come.
See if we don't fit the criteria.
All right. Do your thing.
I don't think so, but
Do
here
your
we
thing.
go. You are not a king. You are just a pawn, scattering the seeds from which the masses will be born. The emphasis you place on the space you put your tail shows just the kind of weakness that would cause a race to fail. Where did you get it in your head that the value you possess was determined by efficiency of taking off my dress? Huh? Who taught you what it means to be a man? Don't blame the absence of a father. Blame the absence of a plan. Blame the system that would have you drugged and sexing off a sport. Blame the rich when you steal, then when they catch you, blame the court. Blame the girls that told you yes. Blame the girl that told you no. Blame the girl that was your mother. Blame it on the way you grow. So many things you have the opportunity to use as your excuse when you lose. But what if all you had to do to win was to learn from the example of the king? Yeah.
Jeez!
Yes, sir.
And this is why every time she comes, I ask her to leave a poem with me. And I know you guys enjoy it so much. JAH9, multi-talented, and you know, she's making, you know, great records, you know, great. Do you ever do, like, poetry reciting?
You know, I haven't done one of those in a while, but it's definitely something that I intend to begin again.
Yeah, I think you would be so phenomenal at that. Like,
That's my foundation.
So that's what you used to do.
Yeah, that's where I started. I didn't start writing songs. I started writing poetry and singing separately. And poetry was where my word sound was expressed. It's only probably in the past, 15 years that I was writing songs. But I mean, I've been writing poetry since I was 6 years old. I have volumes of poetry written in books, Hurricane Come, Mash Up book, and all kind of thing. But it's how I had to express. The first ways that I had to express.
So is the Bridges then brought you into the recording or?
No, I started the recording with, I think it's probably Barry's Hammond that draw me out the most. Like to say, go into studio.
So you have a relationship with Barry's?
I do. He's one of the first people who gave me an opportunity to just do my thing in the studio. At Harmony House, bringing musicians together. My then musical director, Sheldon Bernard, introduced me to him and was like, yo, this girl, you know, really great writer, nice singer, you should check her out. And I went in and we spoke for hours, just reasoning about life. And then he's like, yo, so what you want to do? And I'm like, yo, I want to make an album. And he's like, all right, studio, do it, let's see. You know, and we worked on it, and he was there with me through the process as well. And I mean, I brought the songs forward because I had started to write songs maybe in university. You know, a different set of bridges, but like just fireside reasoning, and my bridges would be freestyling, and I'm like, I can do that too. And, you know, and I remember there was a time when I was writing a song every day. Like I wanted to spend a whole month just creating music. That was the time when I wrote songs like Preacher Man. Yeah, and this was like when I was just out of university in like 2004. So I've been writing songs maybe since early 2000. And then those are the songs that you all are inheriting now, as well as along the line. So that's why my songs are so dense with lyrics, you know, because they're poems. A lot of them started out as poems. But this new record that's coming, I'm writing them as songs. I'm using a song formula to come up with melody first and trying to simplify to kind of reach some different ones with some different vibes.
Can we drop one of the new songs? I think Ninja has some new songs lined up here.
I like that one, yeah. Me like that one, yeah.
All right.
Me like that one, yeah.
JAH9 in the building. Call you live. Call you live.
Hello, Chin. Good evening.
Yes, I
wanna bless up the sister, you know, the Empress. Blessed love, man.
Blessed love.
Continue to do the good work there, you know, with the yoga and the music. I love it, man. I love it, you know.
Respect.
Continue, my sister. Blessings on you.
Blessed love.
All the way, you know.
What's the ratio in your yoga classes? Is it a lot of men or mostly women?
You know.
Like, are the men really coming out?
The virgins are coming out. You know, I have never had a yoga on dub where there weren't at least 5 virgins. Yeah. So I would say, yeah, definitely the virgins are coming out. Of course, you're not going to find as many. I mean, women definitely are going to come out more. The virgins, sometimes they'll come and they'll stand on, they'll be a little standoffish, but they'll be there, you know?
So you say, how much woman to man in a class?
I would just say maybe a 1 to 5 ratio.
Yeah, come. Yeah, forward.
It's funny that she said that because I didn't know JAH9 was in studio today, and you know Facebook always give up information you don't need. So today I saw one of my friends checked in an event and it says yoga, and JAH9, I was like, JAH9 and yoga, and I was like, him I go? So I was like, okay. So when I come here now and hear the conversation, I was like, oh, okay. That's like one of this man. I mean, I know him know nothing about yoga, but he checked in on Facebook.
Yeah, man,
he's
you
coming.
don't have to know nothing at all. You don't even have to know how to breathe. You can be in pain. You can come and get relief.
I mean that. Yeah. I'm coming.
And where is it taking place again?
The Knitting Factory.
The Knitting Factory tomorrow in Brooklyn, people. The yoga on dub starts at 6:30. Right?
And live show at 8:30.
And the live show is going to be at 8:30. When we say live show, we're talking about full band. You guys are going to get 100% of JAH9. All of the songs that you love, some of the songs that we've been playing here and going crazy about. Those of you who want to know about the avocado, you definitely need to be definitely need to be in Brooklyn. I saw someone type earlier and said, Ninja, make sure you play the nasty little teacher boy. You know what I mean? So again, those of you who know the songs.
Come experience it live is a different thing when you have the experience of the music live. When you are there, your energy is a part of the current too. So come out and feel that vibe. You see me? This is a different kind of experience.
You enjoy your live shows?
I do. I really do. I mean, even when I'm freezing cold, like a couple of days ago, we were up in Maine, and I'm telling you, it's the coldest I have ever been on stage. I think I wasn't prepared for it to be so cold, but we were on stage, and the guitarist and the bass man finger them start cramp up. Everybody, I get well cold. My voice, I go at bare things. But the people in front of you are just feeling it so much. It's like you just have to give it. And that energy just kept the whole vibe going. So, yeah, man, I love to serve in that way, too.
We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. When we come back, of course, JAH9 has a couple of things that she wants to talk about. I have some more songs to drop. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Yoga on Dub before she cuts out of the building. Keep it locked, of course, people. Sound Chat Radio on a Monday, 31 cities tuned in all across the world. We appreciate that. Big up to those of you who live in these far overseas places and you can't call me on the phone because we know how it goes, so you just communicate with me on the dub, on the WhatsApp, right? I said on the dub. Communicate with me on the WhatsApp. Big up to those of you in Gambia. And also big up to Steven from Costa Rica, who has just hit me up, and also blessing up JAH9. Also, those of you in quite a few people from Gambia has been blessing
Big up
me up
Gambia.
as well. So definitely. And again, for those of you who are in the UK, remember that there's a replay back on Tuesdays and Thursdays now. We'll talk a little bit more about it when we come back from the break. Yoga on Dub. JAH9 will be teaching. It will be starting promptly at 6:30, people. So those of you who want to stretch, those of you who want to learn how to breathe. Treasure, you missed this whole inspirational conversation. But I will say this, Treasure. You need to be at Yoga on Dub tomorrow.
I'm ready to go do my downward dog. I'm ready to go do my downward face. And yes, JAH9, I'm ready. I'm so excited that you're even in the studio. It's just a blessing to have another female on the panel. Like, they try to bully me a lot of the times. Like, really? Yeah, see, look at them. Look.
Don't tell her.
Innocent faces.
That's supposed to be between you and us. You can't tell JAH9
I can't.
They bully me. So I will go and meditate and try to make sure that I'm there tomorrow to free up some of the energy that I have to,
They're going to be there too.
Yes.
Yeah? So they're going to be stretching it out so that next time you have to deal with them,
Why are you looking
they're
at me
more
like that?
balanced.
Can you make sure you place them in the front of the class? 1, 2, and 3. All 3 of them in the front of the class. Yes.
And no cell phones allowed.
No, that's great.
No, that's my rule. I don't know if JAH9 has that rule, but if I'm gonna stretch, no cell phones allowed. Yeah,
because no pictures.
Yeah, no pictures, no videos. You know how the thing goes. It's a scandal world we live in these days.
I thought you were thinking about disconnecting and filling in with your inner peace.
That too.
So I thought that's where you were going, but you just don't want no pictures.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it all starts with no pictures.
So my phone.
You can't be
what about
focused.
my watch?
You can't be focused and you're taking videos. You can't be focused. So listen, people. 361 Metropolitan Avenue tomorrow. 361 Metropolitan Avenue tomorrow. The name of the club, JAH9?
Knitting Factory.
The Knitting Factory, right? Make sure you guys are there. 361 Metropolitan Avenue in Brooklyn. You guys can Google it. 6:30 is when the Yoga on Dub starts.
8:30 showtime.
8:30 showtime. And again, the showtime is definitely gonna get me really, really, really excited because some of my favorite songs are gonna be performed live, right? And here's the thing. I must confess, I've never seen JAH9 live before. I told her that on the phone when she and I was talking. Never seen her live before. But then JAH9 just confessed to me and Drew that she's never been to a sound clash before, so I don't feel bad, right? So we're going to exchange experiences. Yes, you know what I mean? Yes. So we are going to be part of the JAH9 experience tomorrow, and then sometime in the near future we're going to pull her into a clash.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we can have yoga world clash.
No, yoga is not a competitive sport.
Oh, jeez. My bad.
Oh, man.
But JAH9, I have to admit, sorry to cut you, I have to admit, when I first heard that song, Please Make Your Body Feel Good, I thought it was a sexual song,
I remember when I was...
No, when I heard it, she started
Bassman who played the song, after he heard me play it, he was like, "Well, this is a sex song."
I was like, wait, I want a sex song, Johnny. And I listened and I said, oh, it's the pelvics and it. I'm like, oh.
But I think you do those things purposely.
You don't even have to try to do those things in this world. Like, everything is so over sexualized that you don't even have to try. But sex is a beautiful thing. So it's not like we're saying, oh, sex is bad. I could never be talking about that. Like, even the things that make your body feel good, even if it's sex, it must make your body feel good. Can you have sex where it don't make your body feel good too? Right? So when I try, just like we were talking about before, there are times when if it is not mutually consented, or if it is that man don't know if it clean up, let's not just say man, but because I'm a woman, I will say man. Man don't know, so they must make sure so them fingernail trim and them hand clean and all of these things. Them don't know, so them fi wash up and, you know what I mean? We have to make sure so everybody knows that the thing must feel good and smell good.
There are actually men like that though, for real. Like, from a woman's,
Oh Oh, yeah, no.
Because we don't go around looking for those.
I don't
looking at
think
those
you
things.
guys realize it, but we women are very observative of these little things that I will notice it. I may not say anything, but I might encourage a man to say, you know what? Hey, babes, let me do your nails for you. Remember, we spoke about this the other day. Drew, do you remember me speaking about this? And I said, I have no problem filing and trimming a man's toenails because I want them to look good. I want you to fix up. And when you see that this is the way you should look and that's how I appreciate you, then you going forward, you kind of pick up. Yeah, we notice these things. We notice if it's true. Think about it. Your fingernails, as JAH9 said, your fingernails are dirty. That's all I'm going to say.
Listen, Hollywood give people the impression that this thing is oh my gosh, we just had an awesome dinner. I'm going to rip your clothes off and now the same dirty hand and dirty mouth when we use and eat the nasty food. Mega come rub up all over. No. pH is a very real and serious thing, right? So learn, right? Yeah, and all of man, you have to do the thing a little better than that. Right.
I mean, I understand you guys because as a man, we look for almost the same thing when it comes to a woman. You know what I mean? She have to smell good. She have to look presentable. Like, you're not going to look no regular woman. You have to make she look, appealing.
What do you mean regular though, Ninja?
Because some of them know them ear not do all that good.
What do you mean by that, Ninja?
Because it's real. Just also you say man have a clean nail and thing. Woman, some of them nail chippy and rare.
Oh yes, I do have a problem.
Them not. They have to be presentable.
So what do you mean present? Like long and
no, not really long. You have the nails have to be nice and clean and well kept.
Manicured.
Your hair can't too smelly smell.
Okay, that's it. All right. You have to qualify when they got the hair thing. You have to be very specific.
Sorry.
You could be talking about a whole heap of things.
Ninja almost got himself in trouble.
but I got a question for JAH9 that I want to go back to when I was over there sitting down and she was referring to the sugar and the foods in the school with the kids. Right. And I remember we did a story about in Jamaica.
It was like last week.
They were removing all the sugar, the box juice and the bulla and everything from the schools in Jamaica. And there was a big uproar. And I was just curious as what you thought about that. Were the people I said them fight the thing and change the thing? What's your thought on it?
Boy, I give thanks. Anytime I see them taking sugar and processed things out of the youth's them hands, I give thanks. But you cannot just take something out without replacing it with something beneficial. Because there are youths who, they don't have anything to eat if you take that out. So what are you going to give them now? Are you going to now get in touch with farmers and make sure there are fresh juices in the morning? Are you going to make fruits available to them? What is the alternative? Right? You cannot just take something away, or the parents are going to replace it with something else, or them just go dead for hungry. So we can't be so reactive, and that's how a lot of things are, Oh, the world is going plastic free. No more plastic. Yeah, but you have to put contingencies in place, or you're just going to create a vacuum that can be filled by something potentially worse. So information and strategic planning, long-term planning, not this reactiveness, but any move that takes sugar out of the hands of children is great in my book.
All right.
Well, earlier we were, we touched on the cancer thing, and I know you got very, passionate about it. So I think we should have that conversation.
Yes.
What is it?
Okay. So we're in October, and they like to say October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And there's this lots of money being spent, and wear your pink ribbon and contribute to the Cancer Society and Cancer Run and Cancer this and Cancer that. But nobody is talking about the fact that so many people are curing themselves of cancer. Like, cancer doesn't have to be a scary, frightening thing anymore because we understand how CBD works in the body. We understand that I have seen evidence that within 4 months, people can be taken off of their deathbeds. Cancer can be moved out of the body, right? And this is not just that you're going to now use the CBDs and all of a sudden you're cured and then you can go back to eating and living and doing the same thing. It's a lifestyle change. When cancer starts to form in your body to an excess, right? Because they say that everybody has some form of maladaptive growth in their body. It's just a matter of, is it so dominant that you can see it show up, right? So how do you keep that at bay? Is by eating the way you should and by expelling the way you should. Because a lot of times you might eat right, but you're not going to the toilet as often. And I remember watching a lecture where this Indian doctor was talking about all of the things that cancer patients had in common, right? Because he's saying people who are very fit, people who are not so fit, people who eat well, people who are fat, people who are skinny, like anybody can get it. And what he found was consistent among all of those people was constipation. They did not go to the bathroom more than, like that man said on the phone, like once every couple days or once a week and them kind of thing there. And so you have to remember, say, it's the things that are in your body that cause that growth too.
Right.
So if you're not expelling, if you're not excreting, if you're just clogged up, and so many people are impacted. You see these people and them belly swollen and them not go toilet in how much days, and they think it's normal. And we don't talk about it because, oh, that's gross, you can't talk about that. And they don't even know how to get their bowels moving. They're not drinking enough water. They're eating a lot of sugars. Them not eating any roughage. Them don't want to eat no vegetables. And so everything them eat is meat, and it just clogged up in them stomach. Yeah? How are you going to get that out? And then you hear them doing colon cleanse and flushing out them colon, but then them go back and do it. People aren't detoxing. You want to detox at least 4 times for the year. Right? You want to make sure, say, you're detoxing heavy metals out of your body. You're doing your washout. If you come from Jamaica, you know your granny used to make your washout, and whether it's Senapod or is the fancy new things, get the parasites out of your body. Cleanse your colon. Drink water. Drink lots of water. But if you are not going to the toilet, you are very, very much more at risk of developing cancer. No matter what you're eating, if you are not expelling, you are harboring that which is going to cause cancer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because, with the best, what's the best way to say this now? The bathroom is my office. I spend a lot of time in the bathroom. I just want to say.
You mean?
I spend a lot of time in the bathroom. And people usually say, you in the bathroom? Yeah, I'm in the bathroom again. Yeah, I spend a lot of time in the bathroom.
You mean? At least twice a day. You know what I mean?
Twice is an understatement.
Twice, that's what I say, at least twice a day. You can't shake neither.
Man, you're shaking his head.
Oh, man.
Real thing, man.
It's just what it is. Like, I think, listen, when we were younger, there were so many things that we used to be ashamed of other people knowing about us because it just wasn't cool. But you're an adult now and you realize that everybody has to go to the bathroom. Yes. So why do we hide how much times we actually go to the bathroom? When you were younger, you just didn't want people to know that. You know what I mean? Like, you walk in the bathroom on a kid and they're like, get out of the bathroom. Like, what are you doing in here? Because they're still into that little stage where they don't want nobody to know that they do number 2, right? But, I don't know.
And it's the thing, even when you're in psychology, they'll teach you that there are people who are retentive and then there are people who hold their stool and they don't want to go because, and it creates a personality type. And the people who hold on to their bowels and don't expel, you will notice their personality is different from those who are free with their bowels too. The same way that they're retentive, it is the same way they're retentive in other aspects of their life as well. It's true. And so the more there is going to the bathroom and there is efficiently going to the bathroom, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, we have to talk about them things, because life we are trying to save, we can't shame, because we have to teach use them how to do them thing here. So you have to remember, you see this way that they've set up this is the Western toilet, where you sit down like you're sitting on a chair, and your knees are below your hips. I could show you a flipping diagram. That is really the least efficient way to expel. You're going to end up, it's them kind of thing that cause hernia and them thing, because you have to push so hard, because you literally are tightening your.
I wonder if you're going to tell me it's the Japanese toilets. What's the
Japanese, the Africans, most of those in the East, like you squat.
Yes.
Right? And that now lifts your knees above your hips, and so it opens the pathway so that the bones in the pelvis are not squeezing down on the bowels and causing constriction. So even if you're not going to squat, you can just get like a chair, or turn sideways and put your foot up on the bath, or take a little stool or the garbage bin or whatever, but get your knees up. You see, when you get, all right, let me teach you a thing. This is yoga for the toilet now, right? Put up your foot. Keep it up. Find something to put in front of you, right? And then inhale, take a deep breath. Fill your belly with air, and then hold your breath. Hold your breath. You see, when you hold your breath now and your knees are up, just wait. You won't even have to push. It will all come flowing down. Yes? The man them, you want to see the man them face and look
No,
for
but
me.
not me. Only these two. Only them two.
I'm
You're
telling
ashamed
you.
about them bathroom visits. I'm
Because
good.
sometimes you go and then the thing is you don't have the time to wait. And so you go in the bathroom and you don't really have a lot of time. So you just get what you can get out and you just
No, I don't have that problem. But let me when you go to
nothing more important.
When you go to Japan, being constipated is like the worst feeling ever.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
No, I'm just saying. So I'm glad that I'm not a person that gets constipated, right? But check this out. In Japan, like I was always wondering because I never used the Japanese toilets. I used the regular toilets, right? And the ones that like we have. But I've always wondered, like, do people really? Because they have them in the airport too, Drew. It's everywhere, the Japanese toilets. Don't it, Ninja?
Yeah.
And I'm always saying to myself, like, I wonder if people really use these type of toilets, So it's interesting to know that those are the better way. That's the better way to go to the bathroom.
You need your knees above your pelvis. That is going to open the way. You see, once your body create that V, then you free up the whole. It's like when you, oh my gosh, there is a feeling you get when you are sitting the right way. And you breathe and you hold the breath and it's like it's from the back of your spine.
We have such crazy conversations here.
I'm just looking at Drew's face. Drew is very uncomfortable with this conversation. Drew can't even sit still in his chair.
Drew can't wait to go home.
Drew just a shift to the left. Must slowly
Drew's
shift to the right. Drew is like, yeah, okay, all right.
Me need a stand for the toilet.
Man.
Elevate my foot. But I mean, it's good information for those who out there. Because some people say, "What? I say you really got a bathroom?" Yeah, some people right now go there right now and say, "I try it,
Try it. Trust me. Try it and message me. May I tell you? I preach this thing to the point where I probably make some people uncomfortable, but it's something that if I care about you, I'm going to ask you that question. If you're somebody that's close to me, I'm going to know how you go to the bathroom because I'm going to encourage you. Make sure you're keeping your knees up. We used to have a little inside joke, me and some of my brethren, just hashtag feet up, knees up. Like, just remember, always, like, there's no time for the past maybe 8 years. I never, if I am in, hey, listen, you see, because me flexible, I will be in a bathroom if I can't get to lift up my knee, I will literally hold my knees up in the air, just balancing, because I am not putting my feet down. Because if I do that, I feel like I'm not going to be efficiently expelling, and I don't want to come out of the bathroom and me not done my work. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make sure you do the whole of the work, and that is how you get it done.
Thanks for the information, Janai. You won't forget this day.
Yeah, man.
Every time you come here, you bring us some good information, but this one has stick.
This one I'll go with you.
Yeah.
Literally.
Hashtag feet up.
Feet up, people.
Knees up. Yeah. Hashtag
Yeah.
knees up. Yeah.
So listen. Tomorrow night, people.
Yes.
Night 6:30.
Yep.
The yoga on dub starts. Right. We need you guys to be in the building. Sweatpants, whatever it is that makes you comfortable. Have your mats and stuff, and get ready to work out with JAH9. And there will be a live band, and that's the crazy thing about the whole thing. A live band will be playing throughout the whole exercise, and that's great. And then of course at 8 o'clock?
8:30.
8:30. It's the live show.
Yeah.
And that is gonna take the whole experience to a whole nother level. JAH9 will be doing all of her hit songs, all of them, right? And for those of you who are in the UK, she's coming to the UK as well. Right?
November.
And she's coming to the UK in November. She's going to be in Norwich, UK. She's going to be in Oxford. She's going to be in London. She's going to be in Bristol. She's going to be in Leeds. Right? Shouts to those of you who are listening in Leeds, by the way, because we're broadcasting in Leeds, so you guys can get ready for JAH9 on November 25th. She's going to be at the Wardrobe, right? November 25th. That will be Leeds. And those of you who are in London, that's the 23rd, right? So she's coming with the yoga on dub and live performance, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the full band is coming, and it's going to be a really great experience. Something new, people, and sometimes new things are the things that, we need to experience. You know what I mean? Because I know that this whole yoga on dub thing is going to get big. As I was telling JAH9 during the break, it's something new. It's something, that will allow people to just be able to release and feel good. And health is in. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Health is in. So if you can, do something healthy and at the same time be in the presence of a celebrity and, a band and, it's an easy sell. No, am I wrong? Mm-hmm. It's just an easy sell. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the whole workout, you can just step into the next room and listen to some nice music. It's a great sell. So people, get into this, like really, really get into this. And again, new music coming out. The album will be out like first quarter of next year. First quarter of next year. Do you have a name for it yet? Is it too early?
It's too early.
You're fighting with names in your brain, huh?
No, I know exactly what it's going to be, but it's still too early.
Too early. How would this is what I will ask you about the new album though. How will it be different from 9?
It's going to be very different from 9. 9 was my baby. 9 was all me, conceptually, like all of the elements tied into a theme I wanted to present. It was me presenting myself creatively as producer, as arranger, all of this. But this record is more about me now humbling myself to the process to allow others now to interpret the message in ways that might reach my brothers and sisters a little more. Because a lot of the times, you want to get these messages across and you bring them in a particular way, and because they're so different, them can't play another juggling. So you see me the jiggy tight pants man, them now got hear the song them because they not play. You know what I mean? So now we're working with some different sounds and just focusing on simplifying the message in a way that is going to be easier to absorb. So songs like Feel Good is a simple message. You see me? Like we're still touching all of the themes and we're bringing it forward in a way where just make you feel good. So rather than telling you that, stop drinking water that is fluoridated so you can decalcify your pineal gland, we say just things will make your body feel good. And that's if we do, right? We just break down the messages so that the people them can be more receptive.
And make it look a bit more catchy.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question, right? Because we were talking a couple of weeks about albums, reggae albums and such. And they were saying that, we're looking at billboards and how much albums are being sold for reggae. And I was saying that I think it's the wrong way to look at how albums are being sold. Because I don't think in our genre, I should say, when I say reggae, I think those traditional methods don't work. Because if you're doing a show and you're selling your albums at a show, there's no numbers for billboards to track. There's, all the other things that take place. And I think we keep looking at reggae albums. They keep saying reggae is not selling, but I don't think it's being tracked properly. And the ways it's being sold, you can't track it.
That's true. That's true. And I mean, we're looking at it quantitatively versus qualitatively too. So what is the value of the experience, of the reggae music experience versus another kind of experience? What are people going to these shows for? What is really the value of music? Like for me, I could never possibly look at myself as a Billboard chart-topping artist, because for me to make the songs that fit into that algorithm of this is going to play and this is the formula for making a hit song, I just have to go work and keep putting out the music until something connects in a way that it just resonates. But I can't compromise the work that I come here to do to make sure that everybody like it. Everybody not gonna like my thing. But those who need it will find it and it will be of value.
What are you feeling about this, earlier this week, last week, we were talking about the fact that many of the female artists are now coming together in Jamaica and, sharing the same cry. And that cry is simply that they are not getting enough visibility in the music. They're not getting the rotation on the radio. They're not getting booked for the stage show. So they're saying when you look on a flyer, a bill for an event in Jamaica is one bag of man. And they wouldn't even stop to put on 2 females on it. When you listen to the juggling on the radio and the music being played on the radio, it's one bag of man and very few females being played. Is that something that you notice as well?
For sure. For sure. Without a doubt. But I will say that has always been the case. And now, more than ever, it is different where you are hearing more female artists. So it's just is the cup half full or half empty here? Because there are more female artists now coming out than there have ever been, I think. Just being in Jamaica and seeing all the women now that feel so empowered to go there and do their own thing with their own style, whether it's a dancehall sexy thing or whether it's a culture thing. there are so many women now stepping out and just trying and getting the support and doing their thing professionally and going to the studio and not just looking at us, but really making a name for themselves. And then with the internet and the ability to promote themselves for themselves, you see it more and more. So yes, this is a long-standing issue. But I will say I do see the difference being made where there are women who are kind of headlining these one-off events rather than it being, live performance by whatever. You see the Jada Kingdom and the Shensia and all these people, they are making a name for themselves. So I think a lot of the times too, these female artists need to look at themselves as well and say, what am I doing that I could be, what could I do differently to make myself stand out? Because I think the market is more open now than it has really ever been.
Do you feel that you're being suffocated?
I think that I suffocate myself sometimes. And I'm not really one of them victim kind of people there. And I really look at it like, okay, when I was starting out, I knew that I needed the support of my brothers. It's like saying, all right, I want to go, like Africa is a big part of why I wanted to be a reggae artist, right? But I know that how Africa is right now, me as a female artist, it would be so much easier for me to say, let me do this with a male artist too, because it's just going to make the work less hard. I don't have to try and break down all that ground. It's just an easier thing. So it's just kind of doing your research, doing your background check, and kind of putting yourself out there and doing some things a little differently. But I really feel like those who are innovating are doing well. And I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it around the world. Mark you, it is more the dancehall women, the sexy vibes. But either way, they're doing it. And they're doing it big. And they're getting their names out there more than a lot of the men right now. But it's just not as many.
Right.
You know what I mean? And as many women as are coming out, there still will always be so much more men that are doing it. Because women, we have more sacred work to do. There's lots of things that women have to do, like bringing forward the youths. That's a huge thing. That's not, a lot of people might say, oh, yeah, you can do that and do that too. But really and truly, I don't have no youth yet, and I don't know how I'm going to feel when my belly swell up now. Like, if I might say, I really don't feel like I want to be on the road all year anymore. Like, this might just change my whole priorities. And that is not something I should be looked down on for. That is the highest calling to do, right, in my mind. And so it's a toss-up between that. But for the women who do feel that way, I think there are ways that they can innovate. I also think there are ways that they can kind of pull together, because there is that strength in unity too. And there's a set of female artists that are kind of very similar. And so they like to, and I hear it said even in my presence, like, oh, like they'd want to compare me to another female artist as though there can be only one. You know what I mean? Like some immortal thing. And I'm like, I don't agree. But it's like, I don't want to argue about it. I really want to just show them. I really just want them to see. So I want to see more women endorse other women.
They would compare you to like another cultural artist.
Yeah, they'd compare me to another cultural artist and be like, oh, it was and now is your time, or it was and these little ones coming up, how you feel about it? I'm like, I feel good. Because the more of us that are there, then the more that whole idea of there can be only one will have to be dispelled, because it's the highest level out. Look at the level of singers and writers and things coming up. You know what I mean? How can you not? You're going to want to feature them. And I think in the coming years, you're going to see females headlining some of these shows. You can't go around it. Even females fully clothed, you're going to see us out there. Because we're doing it too. And it's just going to take a little longer, but I think now it has definitely improved.
Calling you live.
Yes, Chen, thanks. JAH9, thanks for the lessons. Well appreciated, well received. Chen, can I just give a cheap plug real quick about women in reggae? We have a show this Saturday at the Milk River called Women in Reggae. It's an annual thing, and it's about just women coming and performing and showing their talent in reggae music. My cousin, she commands a band called Connect That. She's a drummer. Nice. She's also the promoter, the producer.
Nice.
And Milk River this Saturday, women in reggae, come out, support the women, show them your love, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to plug a little, give a little plug. Because, women need to feel that they don't have to betray themselves to make a mark in reggae or in music, period, They can do it on their own. They don't need that man to show them that show, but this man to lead their way. They can do it. They can do it because they're stronger, more efficient. Women, to me, women are are the bosses. Anyway, my wife would tell you she runs the house. You know, to a certain extent, obviously, but you know, yeah. But I really appreciate it. And Janai, one more thing. How do you would like to be? Like you, I spoke to you earlier, and you said best of love to me, and I didn't know how to respond to you. How do you like your man to respond to you, or your significant other to respond to you when you say that to them? How do you?
When I say what?
Respond, blessed love to, like, you greet me, and I didn't know what to say because I was kind of caught off guard. Like so I just sidestepped that whole thing because I didn't know how to respond to you properly.
We can't be shy. We can't be shy about love, you know.
No, it's not a shy thing. I just didn't know the proper etiquette of responding to you. I think that's what it is. Because I'm far from shy.
So you could have said blessed love as well. You know what I mean? Just respond back the same way. It works. Yes, call your life.
Leaving the financial side out of everything, how important is America to any recording artist from Jamaica or anywhere else in the world? Being able to come to America compared to anywhere else, how important is America?
I mean, you can't go around America. Certainly if you're an artist in the West, you know, a Jamaican artist. America is a very influential market. But America, if you are a Jamaican artist, a reggae artist, America is not necessarily the primary market for you either. So there are artists who may never have broken into America, but who are doing very, very well in Europe. And who, you know, like even France only, you know, or Germany only. So it really is, what are you looking for? Are you trying to be an international star, or are you trying to be wealthy, or are you trying to get your music out there? It really depends on what your goals are. There's no, is America, I mean, America isn't everything. You can actually just make money off of African streams alone. You know what I mean? It really depends on the research you're doing and where you want to be as an artist.
When you're traveling, I would guess that you buck up on your friends, your Chronics and the Protos, and how is that like, Kabaka?
I mean, remember, you know, we're family, so we buck up on the road, it's like, you know, it's like, okay, familiar faces.
Right.
So we're on the road and we're playing cards and we're laughing. If we're on a festival together, it's like the energy is just amplified. Because if I have a show, if all of us, like myself and Kabaka and Lila and Proto and Savannah, we were all on Uppsala this year. And
where was that?
That's in Sweden. Sweden, yes. So we were in Sweden together and we were all at the same hotel. And so, like, after we got, it's like, yeah, everybody. So when it was my show time, everybody reach over there and all of them in the audience, they're right up at the front just supporting, you know what I mean? And Kabaka is a little mic shark, you know, so he's just there itching, want to come on the stage. But it's like that. If I did call him up, he would have run on. It's kind of that, you know, it's just always ready to just turn the thing into our jam and take over the thing. And then when now we reach back to the hotel, it's like nobody wants to sleep. And we're like, all right, bring the studio down, and Kabaka whip out the studio, and the bandsman them come down, and we're building rhythms in the night, and then we're playing Uno and quarreling, and you know what I mean? It's family vibes. So, and that is what you get because Uppsala had a huge Jamaican contingent this year. And I think that was a unique thing too, because a lot of these shows in Europe don't necessarily always have a lot of Jamaica-specific reggae artists. But they really did this time around. And anytime you see that, you know what I mean? We were in Cali, and when we're all in Cali together, it's a different vibe to then because you have the ganja on top of the link. It's like all the potential. It's crazy.
Listen, tomorrow, we got to go, of course, but tomorrow, remind them one more time, Janine.
The Knitting Factory, Brooklyn. Come out at 6:30 for Yoga on Dub with me, teaching yoga live with the dub treatment on stage, giving you instrumental dub medicine. And then at 8:30, showtime, DJ Gringo kicking it off. And then we're going into live with the dub treatment, I.
And of course, the address is 361 Metropolitan Avenue, Brooklyn, 361 Metropolitan Avenue, Brooklyn. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed having Janine in the studio. Please, tomorrow's what, Ninja? Tuesday.
5 to 8.
5 to 8, yes. I get
Tuesday,
confused.
the 2nd of October. Come out and see Ninja and Drew and Chin stretching.
Yo, ladies, don't forget, gentlemen, don't forget hashtag knee what?
Knees up.
Knees up, knees up, knees up.
Traveling through inner space.
I think we're gonna use that knees up thing.
Focused and relaxing at the same time.
Ring the alarm.